Hey guys, so me again. I ran across this random video, pretty small little YouTuber, let's say. I'm a non-existing, she's small. I like reacting to people stuff, so I wanted to give it a go. So it says the difference between the first, second, plus third dates for men, the dating coach dishes, whatever. And I'm very interested in what she has to say. One thing I always dislike is women giving men advice about dating. It usually does not work in my opinion, because it's like me giving advice to a woman like on pregnancies. Like it's made for a woman, not a man. So vice versa, it's like. But okay, whatever. Let's see. Maybe she has good points. Let's hear it, and I'm gonna be commenting along the way.
The lowdown on the first, second, and third dates. By avoiding these dating mistakes, you'll not only learn the differences between the first, second, and third dates, but you'll actually learn how to have a lot more fun and guarantee those second and third dates. Hey, welcome to Dating with Sarah. I'm here to give you the secret sauce to becoming your most confident dating self and landing your dream girl. The first mistake that I'm going to share with you is often the most confronting one. We can sometimes get into the habit of using this as a way to protect ourselves from getting hurt in dating. However, the end result is no results. The mistake is using the same script on every date. Never works, yet we still continue to do it. This is when you're asking the same old questions, giving the same old answers, getting the same old responses from your dates. It comes.
I'm not actually sure what she's referring to, but in my opinion, that's incorrect. Like if you're like asking every girl the same questions, if they're boring questions, okay, like I get it, it's fucking boring. You can't start a conversation. That's your personal problem, and you need to work with that. Like you need to get out and talk to people, and to like socialize. If you're like extremely socially awkward, that could be a problem. But if you're using the same old script, that has no problems, because if you're not dating like 5 friends from the same group, they're not gonna know. For example, if you're on a date and you're like, okay, hey, what's up? Like, I don't know, tell me about yourself. You met on Tinder, you chatted a bit, you're like up for a date. So by that point, the amount of texting women do, probably, which I don't like to text at all, you know, like a pretty decent amount of info about her. You know what she does, what she's into, blah blah blah. And by that time, you should have figured out like, okay, she told me she likes ice cream. I don't know, let's go out for a walk, grab ourselves a couple of ice cream, and just talk about any random stuff, like whatever. If you've asked, like, if you met her only once on a party or something, and then you're like, I'm interested in you, I wanna, could we like grab a cup of coffee? And you sit down and you have like these scripted lines, which you ask every girl that doesn't know, that you don't know anything about, is perfectly normal for me, because like that's your vetting process, same stuff that she has. So I don't see a problem with that. I'm not sure what she's referring to. Maybe I jumped too hastily to like comment on this, but let's see.
Comes across as very rehearsed and robotic. I've been on plenty of dates like this, and I can tell you right now that this is the fastest way to kill any possible sparks of chemistry. And it's a sure way to get yourself ghosted. If you're doing the same things on your first date and you are not getting to the second or third date, then it's time to change the script. You want to approach every date you go on as an opportunity to create a unique and personalized experience.
Okay, yeah, agreed. Everybody's different. You should have like, for the first date, in my honest opinion, if you call somebody out on a date, there's like, in the US, there's like this idiotic like thing about who should pay. If she's not giving me pussy, I should pay, and all that bullshit. Like, I don't know, US is fucked up in many strange ways. But if you call a girl on a date, I think it genuinely, and you should like be paying, like, but not like taking her out for like dinners or like jet skiing or what the fuck ever. Just like, if you're like a normal guy, like go grab a cup of coffee, like 1 hour date. Like you get to know each other, and by that point, like if you just chit chat, and even if you do use a script and ask like normal questions, you can basically see if she's into you, if she's not into you, and if you vibe with her or not. Like that little voice inside your head that goes like, man, this is like a bunch of fucking red flags. You can basically tell if after the first date that you either have chemistry or you don't. So if you're using a script for the first date and you're like, hey, what are you into? What would you like to be when you grow up? Even if she's 30, like it's a funny question. I don't know. What are your 3 favorite dishes? Like, what's your favorite food? I don't know. Whatever the conversation leads you should be scriptedly unscripted. I don't know how to explain it. You should not like have a list of questions that you're gonna ask, but like in a sense that you're like asking her just like random stuff, whatever the conversation leads, but with the intent of knowing her. Like for example, I ask what are your 3 favorite dishes, and by her response you can pretty much tell what kind of person somebody is and what's his character. Because if she's like, I don't know, chicken, burgers, and ice cream, like, okay, cool, she likes that. And if she's like, I don't know, I maybe like chicken, and she's like, you can tell that she's indecisive, that she has no clue, that she maybe doesn't know how to cook, if that's important to you. Like, you can tell a bunch of whole different things. These are just like stupid blank examples, but you can pretty much tell like everything on the first date. So if you're using a script, use it, but at the same time don't use like bullet points and questions that you're like reading off your phone and you're just staring at your phone and staring like up at the ceiling. Like, just turn off your phone and talk to the person, and you can pretty much tell if she's right for you or not without like overly pressuring yourself. Like, just be who you are. If she doesn't like you for that, then she's not gonna like you ever, no matter what you do. You can fool somebody for a time, but you can't make people like you. That's impossible.
The first date is about having fun and exploring chemistry, while the second date is about your compatibility and your shared interests. And the third date is about delving deeper into your shared values, your future visions, and of course, nurturing the fun and the chemistry that you kindled in that first date.
You don't need 3 dates. You absolutely don't need 3 dates. Women would love to have like 20 dates and like for that to be romance and all that stuff, but in today's society, which we're like slaving away and everything is forced, somebody is just too tired to go on 3 dates. You can do this if you're in high school and a kid and it's all new and nice and like you're in love, and that's cool, and you're learning how shit works, and you fuck up, you really like a girl and you stumble, you mumble, and all this sort of things. That's pretty cool. But let's say you both are in your like late 20s or early 30s, or like your 40s. I doubt it. When you're in your 40s, you're like already like, I don't give a fuck, we either vibe or we don't vibe. But let's say we're somewhere in the middle, and pretty much from just like a basic conversation. For example, for me, it never happened to me on a first date that I couldn't read a person to their core. Because, for example, if you ask her, okay, so what do you do for a living? And she's like, oh, I'm a lawyer in my career. And you just let people talk. You just let her talk. And women like to talk because I like, in my experience, generally, not all women, but most of the women like to talk a lot and like to talk more than men. So just ask like a few questions or one, and then you let her talk for like 20 minutes, and she's gonna tell you everything you need to know. Like, I'm a lawyer, my career is very important to me, I work like 20 hours a day. And if you're like, bro, this girl is never home, she's always in the office, we'll have no time together, she like, and when she's off, she like goes to fucking, I don't know, Malibu and doesn't respond to text and like goes to parties and does drugs. You're like, there's no shared values. I don't like drugs, I don't like being so detached, I like having somebody around, feeling like a man, like cooking for her, fixing shit, or she's cooking for me, or going like on road trips together or something. Like, you can basically tell everything from the first date. Like, you don't need 3 dates. She gets the second and the third date if there's like chemistry between you. And I'm not, don't get me wrong, I'm not promoting that like bullshit that they're going with, like, you get a girl, and if you pay on the first date for lunch, you have to fuck her. No, that's entirely not what I'm up to, because that just fucks up your soul. At least for me. I don't know for you, but like that like deforms you even worse than having no women at all. If you have no women and you don't understand how shit works and you're young, you may be thirsty, but at least your soul is intact. And if you like learn some like scripts and go, you can basically seduce anybody, pretty much anybody. Like 80% of women you can seduce just by like putting on an appearance and like reversing and telling exactly what they want you to hear and having fake confidence, and you can fuck all of them. It's not that hard. It's just basic psychology. And once you have enough trials and errors, you can get almost any girl you want. Like, and I'm talking like within reason, like not like supermodels, like that whore on yachts and those shit. You don't even want those girls, or whatever. But like you can pretty much get any girl, because you can spill any story to her you want and she doesn't know. So that's also a no-no. So by the first date, you can pretty much like analyze a person completely, and if you can't do that, in my opinion, then something is very wrong with you. You either have been living under a glass bell and you have no experience whatsoever, and you'll gain it, which is cool, or I don't know, you can't read people. You like live inside your own world, or you can't read people for shit and you can get swindled over by anybody. So I'm amazed how you made it this far, in my opinion.
Now, there are no set rules about what questions or topics that you must cover on your first, second, and third dates.
Agreed.
What I would suggest is that you have a few intentions going into each one. It could be as simple as being more present to get you out of your head, or going in with the intent to have more fun on your dates. The reason I'm not giving you a bunch of questions to specifically ask is because I want you to get into the habit of trusting yourself, trusting that what you come up with is exactly what that date, what that moment requires.
Completely agreed with the statement. If you're yourself and you're coming up with stupid, silly stuff and she's laughing, or if she's not laughing, that's a clear sign. You either vibe or you don't vibe. If you don't vibe, you move on. If you vibe, you vibe. That's it. It's as simple as that. There's no like extra layers of bullshit to any of this. Like if a girl likes you, and it's like, I think it's like the same in both ways. If you like a girl, you'll be thinking about her and you'll send her a text and you'll be like, hey, you wanna hang out? And if she likes you, she'll be thinking about you and maybe send you like 5 texts. Like, hey, how are you doing? How's your day? Blah, blah, blah. She'll be interested in you. But if you have to like have 7 extra dates and warm her up, she does not give a fuck about you. If you have to have 3 dates so she could be like warmed up to you, and she's like, yeah, maybe, like, yeah, and you need to take it like super slow and like dance around her like she's a fucking angry bear and all that bullshit. She is not interested. If you have to persuade somebody that you're good enough, if there's no that like inner voice that like is sparking in between you and you don't vibe, it's not it, bro. Don't overly complicate simple shit. It's just not it. Because if you stay in a relationship with that woman, you can probably get her, because if you're like have enough perseverance and chase her, you can get her. But then you will be stuck in a relationship with somebody you don't really like, because you'll realize that you got her just because you were, I don't know, trying so hard, and it's like she's not the kind of person you wanted, and you will disconnect yourself from other girls that are probably a better fit for you, because you'll be locking yourself down with a girl that's not a good fit for you. So quality over quantity.
Actress for over 10 years, I know what it's like to have a script and to feel the pressure to have to perform and get those lines right. Through the past 5 years of observing and working with men, I've also seen this play out. Now, depending on where you're at on your dating journey, I get it. having just 1 or 2 questions may really help you with your confidence and getting the conversation started. I love a good prompt or a conversation starter. However, it is all about how you're saying it, not the words that come out of your mouth. And that's what I really want to hone in. So when you're redeveloping your script, replace it with prompts or intentions that help you get into the best state so that you feel most calm, most relaxed, and can really express what you want in an authentic way rather than pull.
Okay, I know I said like you should have something that you should ask her, which is exactly what she's saying, but sometimes even that won't work, because there's like all sorts of people, like fucked up men, fucked up women, and maybe she'll just go out to get a free coffee and all that shit, and she'll like, you'll ask her like, what's your favorite food, and she'll be like, chicken, and that's it. And then you need to like play fucking Houdini to keep the conversation going. If that ever happens to you, both in texting or in any other segment of like dating or talking to a girl, you just say okay, and you get up, pay the bill, and walk the fuck out, and never look back. That is a waste of fucking time. If you need to dance like a monkey to get somebody interested in you, it's not worth it. And when you get it, it's gonna be even worse. If you need to behave like a fucking retard to get a girl, she's gonna treat you like a retard for the rest of the relationship. It is not worth it. Don't waste your time with that kind of people. Boys, girls, men, whatever the fuck you like, or even if you're just friends. Not fucking worth it. I don't believe in male-female friendship, by the way. I just said like, if you find a guy and you're like looking up to him and he's older, and you're like mimicking him, which boys do when they're like younger, and you want to suck up to him, and he's like, hey, what are you doing, want to play some games? Like, he's like, yeah, sure, whatever, and he's like just giving you zero like friendly vibes. Just go do your own thing, bro. Don't be like that. That never helps in any situation whatsoever. There is no positive outcome to that at all.
Pulling a canned line from some other person that you've overheard saying it. That's not your line. You can craft authentic lines that feel...
Not true. If you heard a good like conversation start, you can just pull it off and modify it. And if that line makes you laugh like a guy, and that's your sense of humor, and you use it on a girl, and it's not her sense of humor, she does not laugh, she just stares at you blankly, and she's like, yeah, and typing on her phone still. Also, you can tell, -1, not working. Then you can try another one and try, like, give her 3 attempts. If you constantly have to carry a conversation and constantly do something, she does not give a fuck. She is not interested. She is just an attention-hungry whore, like most of them are, and they just need attention. Don't waste your time. Just go, thank you, goodbye, next. And that's it.
Feel good for you and then practice them. I'm all for that, but the canned lines, not a big fan. The second mistake I'm going to share with you is the old relationship assumption. Gentlemen, the third date is not a relationship contract. It's about discovery and connection, not about rushing to put a label on it. This will come across as a very needy attempt to get somebody into a relationship when it's not the right time. 3 dates is not a lot. Slow it down. Enjoy the journey. I don't condone playing games or not speaking your mind, but sometimes holding back on how you really feel, playing it cool, if you will, about the fact that you want to marry this woman. And
okay, I think some guys need, like, if I was younger and I was listening to this, I would take it really like one way. So my assumption is what she is trying to say is like, if you're on a 3rd date and you're like, oh, I want to marry you, like, that can scare people off. If a girl did that to me and she was like, after the 2nd date, and she's like, let's fuck, I want to fuck you so bad, I get it, but that's kind of creepy. So don't do that. Don't like be super creepy. Even if you like the girl, like, you don't need to play it cool. Just tell her, listen, I like you a lot, you wanna do this quest with me, like, make do some funny punchline or something like that. Of course, this means that you vibed and all of that stuff, and you're like going out on a date, and it's not an official 3rd date. You're just like, hey, wanna hang out? Yeah, let's hang out. And then you can like go over to her place, cook something. She comes over to you, cook something. I don't know. You go out eating on sugar cotton. You go to like a bar. You go out. I don't know. Like go to that little carnival and drive those little cars and crash into each other. That's like one of the best things I can. Not the best things, but like one of the most fun things I could think of. Like just have fun.
You've got these intense feelings will increase your chances of actually marrying that girl. Also,
yeah, what I was saying, a problem with this is if you're still like that let's say you're following this guy and you're on a third date and you're like discovering captations. You're like this captations, well, what's never mind, that gesture you do. Imagine me doing that with my two fingers, like for example. And you're still discovering her and you're like, oh, about discovery and all that shit. You fucked up somewhere along the way, because if you still couldn't read it by the second date, you fucked up. You need to like reassess your values and how your brain works, and like give it another go, because you can't read people for shit and you're still like discovering if you got the same values. And no, you should have done that on the first date. You can pretty much tell, by body language, by gesticulation, by the way she treats the waiter, by the way she like leaves the bar, if she like tucks her chair in, if she like I don't know, you can pretty much tell if she like goes to the bathroom and doesn't wash her hands, or she looks only out for herself, or if she like doesn't like respect elderly people. If, for example, if you're sitting somewhere and there's like a spot and you give her a spot, then a grandma walks over, I would expect her to stand up and give grandma the spot, like to sit down. So you should not be discovering any conjoined values or whatever the fuck by this point. By this point you should be like, hey, I like you, want to do this quest? And she's like, yes or no. If it's a no, you're like, thank you. You're like, okay, thank you for your time, it's been lovely, see you. And that's it. End of story. You don't call her, you don't write, you don't text, nothing. She is not interested. And if she's maybe like interested but she wants to play tough to get, tough luck, go play tough to get with somebody else. That turns me off. I don't want to waste my time on that bullshit. It's never gonna work.
Have you actually looked in the mirror and asked yourself if you really do feel that way about her? Noticed a lot of men actually settle for the wrong kind of woman, or they think it's the girl of their dreams. However, they haven't given themselves enough time to actually work that out. 3 dates is definitely not enough to really get to know somebody. So next time you put those
yeah, and you know why they settle for the wrong kind of girl? Because they do this, all of this extra shit. Like they detach themselves from the first date, as you said, and then they drag it out into 3 dates, and then they're like, oh well, I've already invested so much time, let me like try to make it work, and they settle. It's as simple as that. Like all of these things should be, not all, but most of them should be done on the first date. So I think that's somewhere where you can like correct a few things. Not to say I disagree with everything, but some of it does not work in men's favor. And I don't mean like that, fuck on the first date and all that stuff.
love goggles on, just be aware that they could be playing tricks on you, and it's better to just slow it down and really make the best decisions about.
There, he said it. They could be playing tricks on you. And if you can tell that by the first date, then you deserve to be fucking yanked like a monkey. That's how you learn. Next time, that won't happen to you.
Being in a relationship or taking it to that next level. As those feelings develop, instead of rushing into it, you can learn how to express those emotions in different ways that feel authentic to you, that might be a little bit cheeky, that still maintain that fun and nurturing of your chemistry without scaring somebody off. Some of the best ways.
What I was about to say, the best way, you just listen to a woman, and for example, she casually mentions, I like Snickers, I don't know, the Snickers candy bar. And then on the second or the third time you see her, or date or whatever you want to label it, I don't give a fuck. You're already like, oh, you want to do this, and she's like, yeah, I want to give it a go. I want to see if we like vibe, because you can't really get to know if somebody's really the right fit for you, like long term, after like 2 or 3 dates. You can't tell if you generally vibe and if she is yes or no, but like very long dating, like after, people can pretend for like up to 6 months. So you're just like, let's try it if she's into it and let's see where it goes. And then you get that Snickers bar, I don't know, on the second date, but she hasn't asked for it. You just like remembered because you were present and listening to exactly what she was saying, and you like remember that she likes it, and you're just like, hey, I got us some Snicker bars, or you like Mars. Like I for example don't like Snickers. Like, here's a Snickers for you, a Mars for me. Let's go grab a beer. And like that gives, like, in my opinion, that makes people, women, like lets them know that you actually listened and you cared about what she said. And this is all under the assumption that you actually like a girl. You're not just like there, I want to fuck her because I want to be, I don't know what they call it these days, a top G or whatever. Like, just like listen, let them talk and listen, and you'll have all the info you need.
That men have actually expressed to me that they are interested, that their feelings are growing, by saying things like, can't stop thinking about you, I love spending time with you, what are you doing to me, woman? I've not felt this way in a very long time, I've never experienced these feelings before. And what really worked is that they would mix up how they would communicate that to me. So sometimes they would send me a voice note, sometimes they would send me a text message, sometimes they would tell me these things in person, and through that combination it created lots of different experiences with it. It felt authentic. It didn't feel like it was coming from a needy place. I was also reciprocating. So I feel like if there is that
yeah, if she is reciprocating, this is all under the assumption that it's like a perfect scenario, which I agree completely with. So by the first date, you should have eliminated. You should have not gone to like 3 official dates. You have 1, you can pretty much tell. Then like second date, you'll be going like, I like this girl, and I pretty sure she knows I like her, and she likes me, you can tell. And you're like, okay, let's see what a vibe. You get her a Snickers bar, like small gestures, like you remember. And then by the 3rd time you meet her, you're like, hey, I like you and I would generally like to give it a go. Would you be like, wanna try and like hang out, see what's gonna happen? And then you just let it go. And some people like, I've heard some man coaches being like, never ask her for a relationship, never like do this. Okay, fine, don't do it. But me as a person, personally, I like to know where I stand. And women like mystery. Yeah, they told me that they don't know anything about me even after years of relationship, because I'm just super simple. I observe and don't talk much, and I don't ever need to overly like call you and tell you about my day. It's just like a waste of time, because what are we gonna talk about when we actually see each other? But they are referring to like the coaches are referring to like don't ever initiate the talk about are we in a relationship or not. You don't need to initiate that talk. You just say, look, I like you, wanna give it a go? Yes, no, fine, boom, move on. Because if you are like a person like me and you find that girl, she's gonna understand you. The girl that like has the same mental disabilities as you do, you're like crazy in the same way, you're gonna understand each other. And if you like are a very direct person, but you play games to get the girl that is not really quite the fit that you like, but she's like super hot, it's gonna be shit. Because then she's gonna have a completely different perspective about you, and vice versa, you of her, and it's gonna fall apart. So if you feel like you should tell her that you're interested and wanna give it a go, do it. And if she says what a fucking chump and she fucks you off, that's all the proof you need. You ain't good together. It's cool. It's a blessing. Because she just created space for you to meet somebody that's perfect for you. And vice versa. There's not a lot of philosophy in all of this. I'm just making it uber complicated for no reason.
Reciprocity between both of you. There's that joint interest, that's great. If you notice that you're the only one saying these things and she's just like, yeah, thank you, pull back.
Correct. Agreed. And you can, like for the millionth time, you can see this on the first date. Basically, after like an hour, half an hour or an hour talking to somebody, you can see if she's interested or not. And on the second date, if there's no like interest, she's just like, she's interested in talking to you, you're funny, but something's off. Like something is missing. You can pretty much tell. That inner voice can tell you it's not it. Just like say, hey, it was nice hanging out with you, but I don't think that we vibe. Thank you for your time. Bye-bye.
Retreat. Get out of there. Like that is a sign just to give her space. Maybe she's...
No, it's not a sign to give her space. And if she doesn't like you by that, because this is like third date, if she doesn't like you by that, she's never gonna like you. Incorrect. No, don't even try.
She's interested, but she doesn't develop those feelings at the same pace. Or is...
Whenever you like somebody, guys, you know this, you go, if you really, really like somebody, you go loco and you're like, I want to spend time with them, I want to do this, I want to tell them how I feel, but you, of course, keep it in, you don't bombard somebody, but you're very eager to hang out with them. And when they compliment you, like, thank you, I think you're beautiful as well, like subtle notes. And if she doesn't do that, and you're like, okay, I'm gonna pull back and give her some space so she can like develop those, that's bullshit. If she doesn't already have them, she's not that interested in the first place. She's not gonna develop them ever. Maybe, but it's like you apply for a job you don't like, and eventually you're like, it's just a routine. I can do it, but I don't really give a fuck. I can change jobs tomorrow. No, it does not work like that. Don't ever do it.
It's just a sign that she's not interested. If you haven't already, grab a copy of my free guidebook, The Secrets to Landing Your Dream Girl with Confidence. You won't regret it. This next one...
Grab a copy. Maybe it's good.
May ruffle some feathers. The third mistake that I'm going to share is that nice guys finish last. Not
okay,
first,
let's hear this.
Last. Everything that a nice guy does is consciously or unconsciously calculated to gain someone's approval or to avoid disapproval. To quote one of my favorite books, No More Mr. Nice Guy, the key isn't about being less nice, it's about being assertive, genuine, confident, and coming from a place where you are detached from the outcome. The friend zone often comes because of a lack of confidently communicated intention and flirting. Women can sense immediately if you are coming from this neediness versus coming from this secure, confident space. If you are interested in her romantically, you want to express that assertively and genuinely. This can be done.
Yeah, I agree with pretty much most of it, but if you express that assertively and genuinely, how does that tie into the previous point where you told her that you said that you shouldn't tell them? It's kind of contradictory, ain't it? Like I'm a bit confused. Maybe I'm just getting it wrong, but like contradictory. So back to what I said. If you are interested, you tell her, hey, you want to vibe? She says no. No, she says yes. Cool. Not that complicated. Don't overly complicate it.
Down through your body language, through sharing genuine compliments about why you love spending time with her, like what I shared before. Something a little bit more cheeky and forward, like saying, I want to kiss you when you're saying goodbye at the end of a date. I actually had an experience with a client
Agreed,
when I was doing
done
dating
that.
boot camps
You should do that
around
if
the
you
world,
feel
and
the
I was
vibe.
there right next to one of my clients with a girl that he'd met at the bar, and they were quite close with one another, and he said and actioned that very line and made out with this gorgeous girl by just saying, I want to kiss you. He expressed very confidently. It's a very assertive thing to do as well, and he coupled that with his body language of actually holding her in quite close. And she met in that space and they just both made out, and it was really beautiful. And so I always think about that when I think about the line, I want to kiss you, because oof, when you're that close with one another and you're both feeling the energy, you're both feeling that sexual tension, you just want that masculine direction to go boom, like this is what I want. So it does take courage to say that. It is cheeky, but again, it's all about how you say something, not what you're saying. So give that a go on your next date. Now, I'm not the biggest fan of giving people canned lines. I feel like they paralyze men more than they help them. However, if you just have a couple of things that you can focus on through repetition that are going to help you and they work, then...
Agreed. And if as a guy you're paralyzed, you need to go and do it as much as you can. You need to face that fear, in my opinion at least. As a guy, whenever you fear something or you have a problem, you should be focusing on exactly that shit and doing it over and over again until you realize that it's not real. And it passes, and I get it, there's a shit ton of different fears and some anxiety, depression, whatever the fuck you have. Like, it's common in today's world for some reason. I mean, for some reason, for a lot of reasons. You should go out and practice that, and don't be afraid if she says like fuck off, you're an idiot, or like, I mean, that doesn't mean you have to stalk girls like can be rude and impolite and all that shit. Just like, go and practice it, and if you get rejected a million times, all the better, because you're gonna learn and fine-tune it every time, and that's the best way to learn. It's exactly the same with anything. If you're a carpenter, you craft fucking tables, and the first is gonna be shit, and the first 50 are gonna be shit, but the 51 is gonna be decent, and after 200 tables, you're gonna be crafting them in your fucking sleep. So go, and if you're nervous, do it. Just fucking do it. that actor, just do it. He's completely right. People think he's insane. I mean, we all have tough periods, but I think that dude is completely right. Just fucking do it. It's that simple.
Double down on that. I feel like when you have canned lines or actions that you do on every date or in every situation are like a tricycle. When you're learning to ride your bike, you've got those extra wheels. Then once you build your confidence up, you get rid of those wheels and you stick to the two. What a great example, Sarah. So essentially, you can use them to a certain point, but get rid of them and focus on being as present and in the moment as possible, because that is what's going to help you create unique experiences on your dates. It's also going to be a lot more enjoyable for you. Men that I've worked with that have actually got confidence, they're having success with women.
Completely agree with these points, and you can still use those like scripted lines or whatever she calls them, just like openers. Because how the fuck is that girl gonna know that the other girl received the exact same line? No way in hell, unless they're like friends. So try not to date friends. That's like a big no-no always. It's like dishonorable. Honor above everything. So if it makes you feel more comfortable, use fucking scripted lines, open up the conversation, and once the conversation opens up, it's gonna be all natural and all easy. If it does not open up, clear sign. You ain't gonna vibe.
However, they never transition from their tricycle to their bike. Tell me things like, oh, my dating life isn't feeling very fulfilling, Sarah. I'm not able to really get a deep connection with women. They might be sleeping with lots of women, but they're not really there. That's why being present and really fully immersing yourself and experiencing it and creating something out of nothing is what makes...
Yes, however, that is also because you only have a reverse script and you're not listening to your inner voice. What I've been saying. Your inner voice will always tell you, you can fuck this girl, but she's not for you. And still she's hot and you just go for it. That's the reason. It's not because you're like only using your like practice lines or doing this. It's because you're chasing girls that or like dating girls or whatever that you don't vibe with, but you want them so badly, and the universe is trying to teach you, bro, this is not the type of girl for you. She is not. You're wasting your time on a bunch of girls that don't vibe with you. Super fucking simple. Don't complicate it. Like, this part of the video, it's not about scripts as much. With scripts you can get like pretty much, like if you practice and you're confident and you have false confidence, you can probably fuck a lot of girls. even if you're not that good looking, because it's all about the energy and the vibe. And you can get those girls, but if you continue pursuing only those girls, where you need to like work the shit out of just to get them in bed, it's not gonna be good. If you don't vibe instantly, you ain't ever gonna have a vibe relationship that's like cool and you both vibe, you know? Because as I said, if she likes you, there'll be no like, does she like me? No, she's gonna make it fucking clear and obvious in her female, feminine, whatever way. You know, she's gonna be there, she's gonna be available, she's gonna ask about you, you know, she's gonna be genuinely interested, same as you do. Like, you ask her questions, she responds, and she tells you about, and she tells a funny story, and then vice versa. However, if you date with, like, if you pursue girls that you don't vibe with, this is gonna happen. It has lesser to do with scripts and more to do with you being stubborn and trying to get the girl that does not work with you. And even if you get her, you probably can, later down the line, it's gonna be shit. She's probably gonna end up mounting some other dude, because she's gonna feel that connection to somebody, she's gonna truly fall in love, and then it's like you have 2 kids and all that, and you've wasted all of that for nothing. You know, don't put yourself in stupid situations.
It's dating, and every date and every person that you get to date so different and so fucking beautiful. So that's my invitation to you. Use the tricycle by all means, gentlemen, and if it works, it works. You know, there's another client I have who has certain openers on his dating apps. He always says, you have the best eyebrows or something like this, and I laugh with him and say, I can't believe how well that works. However, I'm also like, that's awesome, that works. And if that feels authentic for you, awesome. But if you look yourself in the mirror and you ask yourself, does that feel genuine for me? Does that feel authentic for me? And the answer is no, stop doing it. Do not pretend that you're somebody else. It will not help you in the long run. You can start conversations with your work.
Agreed, exactly. And bring it all the way back again for the millionth time. If you're somebody else, and if you're reversing this, and if you're pretending, and if you're pursuing girls that don't really vibe with you, it's always gonna be shit. Be who you are. If she doesn't like you, next one. Eventually, because as a guy, I had this thing that we all want that one that's gonna vibe with you. When you come home, it'll be a meal or whatever ready, and you'll be like, man, I'm glad I'm home. You won't come home and you'll be like, this girl doesn't understand me, and then she's gonna nag me about, like, I don't know, X and Y stuff, and I'm gonna want to shoot myself in the head. Super fucking simple.
Words, trust me. Remember, dating is a journey, not a destination. It's about growing, learning, and finding out what truly works for you. By understanding the dynamics of your first, second, and third dates, you're simply equipping yourself with a map to navigate this journey effectively. Enjoy developing your confidence. Have more fun with it. Take away that pressure that we can sometimes put on ourselves and be our harshest critics, and start to smile and enjoy the ride a lot more. I can't wait to dig deeper into these strategies in my next videos. So make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on your notifications so you don't miss the next one.
Oops. She
is ghosting.
Yeah, better hair color. Keep the blonde is too much. I don't think it sits well with you. Personal preference. Your face is just like a bit more opened up with this hair color, and it fits nicely with your skin tone. Yeah, but that's about it. So she has some good points, but don't take everything like on face value. Like, one date, you can pretty much tell if it's yes or no. And on the second date, you should already be vibing, doing different things, like having fun, laughing, blah, blah, blah. No, you know, small token, like a candy bar or something. And on the third date, you'll be like, hey, I like you, want to give this a go? Yes or no? And that's it. But that's only, you know, if on the second date, she's really, really into you. If she's not, fuck it, it's not worth it. That's all, guys. See you again. Bye-bye.